Welcome to Learn English with Legends. In this video, you'll improve your English while exploring the incredible life story of Elon Musk, a visionary entrepreneur who turned imagination into reality and changed the future of technology.
Part 1. The Beginning. Elon Musk was born on June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, South Africa. From the very beginning, he seemed different. While other children spent their days playing outside, Elon preferred to sit quietly with a book in his hand, lost in worlds of imagination and invention. His mother, May Musk, was a Canadian model and dietitian, a strong, independent woman who had already lived a fascinating life. His father, Elon Musk, was an engineer, intelligent but strict, and sometimes distant. Elon grew up with two younger siblings, Kimball and Tosca. Their house was full of books, encyclopedias, science fiction novels, and technical manuals. Elon read them all. By the time he was 9, he had already finished an entire set of Britannica encyclopedias. He didn't just read, he imagined. He wanted to understand how everything worked, why the stars shined, how computers thought, and whether people could ever live on another planet. But childhood wasn't easy for him. Elon was shy and quiet, which made him an easy target for bullies. At school, he was often beaten so badly that once he was hospitalized. Yet, even in those dark moments, Elon escaped into his dreams. He said later that reading gave him a way to leave reality for a while, to live inside worlds where anything was possible. When Elon was 10, something happened that changed his life forever. He discovered computers. One day, his father brought home a Commodore VIC-20, one of the earliest personal computers. Elon was fascinated. He spent days and nights learning how to program it, teaching himself by reading manuals and trying line after line of code. At the age of 12, he created his first video game, a simple space shooter called Blaster, and sold it to a computer magazine for $500. It was a small success, but for Elon, it meant something far greater. Proof that he could build things that other people found valuable. It was the beginning of a lifelong belief that with enough effort, imagination could become reality. Despite his intelligence, school remained difficult. He didn't fit in. Teachers described him as lost in thought, while classmates thought he was strange. But Elon didn't care much about fitting in. He once said, "When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are against you." At home, life was complicated. His parents divorced when he was young, and Elon chose to live with his father. He would later describe this decision as one of the worst mistakes of his life. His relationship with Errol was painful. He called his father a terrible human being. But even in that toxic environment, Elon learned something essential: independence. He realized that no one was coming to save him. He had to build his own path. By the time he was a teenager, Elon's mind was already looking far beyond South Africa. He was obsessed with the idea of America, the land of technology, freedom, and possibility. Almost every great thing, he thought, seems to come from the United States. But leaving South Africa wasn't easy. The country was under apartheid, and all young men were required to serve in the military. Elon didn't want to support a system he believed was wrong. So at 17, he made a bold decision. He would leave the country alone. He applied for a Canadian passport through his mother's side of the family and managed to get one. In 1989, with only a few belongings and very little money, he flew from South Africa to Canada to begin a new life. When he arrived, things weren't glamorous at all. He had no home, no job, and no connections. For the first few years, he worked in whatever jobs he could find, cutting wood, cleaning boilers, and working on farms. He slept on couches and sometimes in the open, but he never complained. For Elon, these struggles were part of the journey. He studied at Queen's University in Ontario, where he met a young woman named Justine Wilson, who would later become his first wife. Elon was ambitious, curious, and always full of ideas. He constantly talked about big things, space, technology, the future. While others worried about grades or social life, He was already thinking about how to change the world. In 1995, after 2 years in Canada, Elon transferred to the University of Pennsylvania in the United States, the country he had dreamed of since childhood. He studied physics and economics, a combination that reflected both his scientific curiosity and his desire to build things that mattered. At Penn, Elon was known for his intensity. While others went to parties, he and his roommate rented a house and turned it into a small nightclub to earn money for tuition. But even then, Elon didn't care much about fun. He was always reading, always learning. His friends later said that he could sit quietly for hours, staring into space, not daydreaming, but thinking, really thinking. After graduation, Elon was accepted into a Ph.D. program at Stanford University in California to study energy physics. But he never finished it. In fact, he dropped out just 2 days after starting. The reason? The internet. It was 1995, the dawn of the internet age, and Elon realized that something extraordinary was happening. The world was changing, and he wanted to be part of it. He once said, "I could either watch it happen or be a part of it." So, with his brother Kimball, he started his first company, Zip2, a simple idea, an online city guide that helped newspapers create digital versions of their listings. The brothers worked day and night, sleeping in the office, showering at the local gym, and eating cheap takeout food. But Elon didn't mind the exhaustion. For him, it was the first time he felt like he was truly creating something that could shape the future. After months of hard work, Zip2 began to grow. Elon poured all of his energy into the company. He slept on office couches, skipped meals, and often went days without proper rest. His vision was clear. The internet could change the way people lived, and he wanted to be at the forefront. In 1999, Zip2 was sold to Compaq for nearly $300 million, and Elon received about $22 million from the deal. For most people, this would have been the pinnacle, a moment to relax and enjoy the rewards. But for Elon, it was just the beginning. He wanted to change the world on a much larger scale. With some of the money, he co-founded X.com, an online financial services and payment company. X.com eventually became PayPal, the revolutionary system that transformed online payments. While building X.com, Elon faced countless challenges. Investors doubted him, employees questioned his intense management style, and he faced personal criticism in the media. But he refused to back down. He was determined to create something the world had never seen before. By 2002, PayPal was sold to eBay for $1.5 billion in stock, and Elon's share made him extremely wealthy, yet his ambitions went far beyond personal wealth. Around this time, Elon married Justine Wilson, a Canadian author he met at the University of Pennsylvania. Together, they had 6 children, although tragically, their first son, Nevada, died of sudden infant death syndrome at just 10 weeks old. This loss deeply affected Elon and Justine, yet they continued to pursue their lives with determination. But Elon's personal life was far from easy. Balancing marriage, fatherhood, and building revolutionary companies was nearly impossible. He and Justine eventually divorced, a painful but necessary decision, as both pursued their individual paths. Meanwhile, Elon's professional life was exploding with risk and vision. He had long dreamed of space exploration, an obsession that began when he was a child. In 2002, he founded SpaceX, with the audacious goal of making space travel affordable and eventually colonizing Mars. Many laughed at the idea. Experts told him it was impossible. Investors warned him that he would fail. But Elon thrived on challenges. SpaceX struggled through its first several years. Rockets failed to launch, and the company almost went bankrupt. Elon even poured his own fortune into SpaceX to keep it alive. He often worked 100-hour weeks, sleeping in the office, showering in local gyms, and constantly refining every detail of rocket design. His obsession with perfection, while controversial, pushed SpaceX closer to success every day. At the same time, Elon turned his attention to electric cars. He joined Tesla Motors in 2004, investing millions of his own money. Many believed electric cars were a failed dream, impractical, expensive, and slow. But Elon envisioned a future where sustainable energy could power the world. He challenged engineers, designers, and executives relentlessly, often clashing with them. But his determination gradually turned Tesla into a revolutionary company. While building his empire, Elon's personal life continued to be turbulent. After his divorce from Justine, he had several high-profile relationships, including with Tallulah Riley, whom he married and divorced twice. His romantic life often made headlines, adding pressure and scrutiny to an already intense life. Yet, through all the public attention, Elon remained focused on his vision. He believed that the future of humanity was bigger than any personal distraction. By 2008, both Tesla and SpaceX faced near collapse. Tesla had almost run out of cash during the development of the Model S, and SpaceX had failed in its first 3 attempts to launch a rocket into orbit. But then, against all odds, SpaceX's Falcon 1 succeeded, and Tesla launched its first electric car that captured the imagination of the world. Elon's resilience had paid off. Despite wealth and recognition, Elon continued to live a life defined by work, risk, and ambition. He often said, "I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary." This became his personal mantra, a reminder that the world could be shaped by those willing to work harder, think bigger, and dream further. After surviving the most difficult years of his career, Elon Musk entered a period of rapid growth and extraordinary ambition. SpaceX, which many had predicted would fail, began to achieve historic milestones. The company successfully launched the Falcon 9 rocket, becoming the first privately funded company to send a spacecraft into orbit and return it safely to Earth. The world took notice. Elon Musk was no longer just an eccentric billionaire. He was a visionary shaping the future of humanity. At Tesla, Elon faced equal challenges. The development of the Model S was plagued by delays, technical difficulties, and financial strain. Investors doubted the viability of electric cars, and critics called him reckless. But Elon persevered. He worked tirelessly, often sleeping on the factory floor and answering emails at all hours. His hands-on approach pushed Tesla to produce one of the most acclaimed electric vehicles in history, proving that sustainable energy could compete with traditional automobiles. Beyond Tesla and SpaceX, Elon's ambitions grew even larger. In 2015, he co-founded OpenAI, an organization dedicated to artificial intelligence safety and research. He also launched Neuralink, aiming to connect the human brain with computers, and The Boring Company, focused on building underground transportation tunnels to reduce urban traffic. Each project seemed audacious, impossible even, yet Elon pursued them with relentless energy and vision. The personal cost of this lifestyle was high. Elon's intense work schedule often strained his relationships. After his second marriage to Tallulah Riley ended, he entered a series of high-profile relationships. He became a father to multiple children, and though he loved his family deeply, balancing fatherhood and global entrepreneurship proved challenging. Elon has often spoken publicly about the difficulty of managing time, expressing that even with extraordinary success, life remains a constant juggling act. Criticism and public scrutiny followed Elon wherever he went. From controversial tweets to daring statements about the future of technology and humanity, he became one of the most polarizing figures of the 21st century. Yet he seemed undeterred. For Elon, failure was never permanent. It was simply another step toward progress. He famously said, "Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you're not innovating enough." Despite the obstacles, Elon Musk achieved feats that reshaped multiple industries. SpaceX began sending astronauts to the International Space Station, and its long-term goal of colonizing Mars captured global imagination. Tesla revolutionized the auto industry, making electric cars desirable, high-performance, and mainstream. His work in solar energy through SolarCity promoted sustainable living, while ventures like Neuralink and Hyperloop challenged the limits of human imagination. Through it all, Elon remained a dreamer at heart. He often reflected on his childhood fascination with space and technology, reminding himself that the impossible was merely a temporary label. His story inspired millions worldwide, showing that vision, perseverance, and risk-taking could change the course of history. Today, Elon Musk is not just an entrepreneur. He is a symbol of human ambition. His life reminds us that even in the face of failure, criticism, and personal struggles, extraordinary dreams can become reality. From a curious boy in South Africa who loved books and video games to a man changing the world with rockets, electric cars, and revolutionary technology, Elon Musk embodies the idea that the boundaries of human potential are limited only by imagination. And in the quiet moments, away from media attention and public scrutiny, Elon still gazes at the stars, the same stars that once inspired a young boy to dream beyond the earth. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. Elon Musk's story teaches us that vision, courage, and determination can transform dreams into reality, inspiring generations to think bigger, reach farther, and never stop dreaming. Part 4: Legacy and the Future. As Elon Musk's fame grew, so did the intensity of public scrutiny. Every tweet, every announcement, every decision was analyzed by millions. Critics were quick to judge, and sometimes their words stung. But Elon had learned early in life that the opinions of others were less important than following one's vision. His personal life remained complex. Elon became a father to multiple children, and balancing family with the relentless demands of SpaceX, Tesla, and his other ventures was a constant challenge. Relationships came and went, but each taught him something about resilience, empathy, and the human side of ambition. In interviews, he often spoke about the joy of fatherhood and the lessons he learned from his children, showing a softer, reflective side rarely seen in headlines. Public failures and controversies were also part of his journey. From near bankruptcy at Tesla to high-profile missteps at SpaceX, from labor disputes to provocative statements on social media, Elon faced constant challenges. Yet, he approached each obstacle with the same principle that had guided him since childhood. Failure is temporary, as long as you keep moving forward. Elon's ambitions never slowed. SpaceX continues to pursue Mars colonization, with a Starship project aiming to make interplanetary travel possible. Tesla is pushing boundaries in autonomous driving, energy storage, and global sustainability. Neuralink explores the frontiers of neuroscience, and the Boring Company looks to revolutionize urban transport. Each project reflects Elon's core belief that humanity can overcome its limitations with creativity, technology, and courage. Even as the world watches, Elon remains a dreamer. He frequently returns to the questions that fascinated him as a child. Can humans live on other planets? Can technology solve climate change? Can we push the boundaries of what is possible? These questions continue to drive every decision, every sleepless night, and every risk he takes. Elon Musk's story is not just about wealth or fame. It's about vision, persistence, and the audacity to dream beyond the imaginable. From a small boy in Pretoria, reading books and creating video games, to a global figure shaping the future of space, transportation, energy, and artificial intelligence, Elon reminds us that extraordinary dreams are worth pursuing no matter how impossible they may seem. In a world that often celebrates comfort and conformity, Elon chose a harder path: to challenge the status quo, to take risks, and work tirelessly for the sake of the future. And through this journey, he inspires countless others to do the same. As we reflect on his life, one thing becomes clear. Elon Musk's legacy is not defined by the cars he builds, the rockets he launches, or the companies he creates. His legacy is defined by his relentless pursuit of the impossible, and a reminder that anyone, anywhere, with enough vision and perseverance can change the world. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. And so, the boy who once gazed at the stars from a small room in Pretoria continues to dream for himself, for humanity, and for the endless possibilities that lie ahead.
What a remarkable journey of innovation and determination. If you enjoyed Elon Musk's story, don't forget to subscribe and join us for more inspiring life stories while improving your English step by step.